Hi, I'm Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt. We're doing things a little bit different this month for you on our episode here, telling you about the Sheriff's Office. We have an open house here out at the Sheriff's Office today. We are showing you what it is that we do, some of the various services that we have that are available to serve and protect you, the citizens here in Dodge County. We have all kinds of things for you today that you can check out, and I think you're really going to appreciate today's episode to show you what we do for you. Some of those things that we have are tours in our facilities. We have our staff showing you what it is that we do from our recreation patrol. We have some of our chaplains here. Our Citizen Academy, if you'd like to join our Citizen Academy, we've got folks here that have been through the program, that just love it and have become part of our family. We have our cadet program. We have our SWAT team. You can even stop in today by our court security staff. So many things here at the Sheriff's Office that we do every day, serving and protecting the citizens of Dodge County. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy all of the great things we have.
Okay. Hi, my name's Luke Luther. I'm with the Dodge County Sheriff's Office. I'm the Dodge County Recreation Deputy. I just started back in March. Been doing this since then, and I've gone to a lot of training and been learning a lot since I've started. So my main objective is to be out on the boat in the waters of Dodge County, be out on the trails, on the ATVs and UTV trails, and also be out on the snowmobile. And while I'm out there, my main goal is to identify any violations and make contact with people, let them know the safety rules and the rules of the trailways and waterways, and address any situations and just be out there, be visible, and be available for anybody that might have questions as well.
Where did you work before you worked for Dodge County?
Well, I've been at Dodge County for 2.5 years. Before that, I was with the City of Amarillo for 16 years. Like I said, been here 2.5 years. Been loving it. Been able to do a lot of different things. SWAT, Honor Guard, FTO, and then now this rec position. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's been challenging, which is something that I really liked and look forward to.
All right, why don't you take us through these pieces of equipment you have here?
Sure, you bet. Okay, it is boating season right now in Dodge County. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office has a 2016 Crestliner Fishhawk with a 115 horse engine on the back. I work closely with the DNR wardens of Dodge County. We've been out and about on the waters of Dodge County. Like I said, my main objective is to be out there, identify any violations and safety hazards and address those, and make sure when people go out, they're intending to have a good day and that they don't violate any rules or safety regulations and have a bad day.
What bodies of water do you patrol?
Mostly it's Fox Lake, Beaver Dam, and Lake Sinisippi, and then some of the other outlying water bodies as well. This year already, we've had a search and recovery Fox Lake at the end of April with the assistance of many other departments. I was out there as well. It's a great tool to have, a recreation deputy with a boat to respond to those things.
Now, do you go out with somebody else then? Do you have a partner?
Yeah, I certainly, that's the optimal way to do things. There are times where I have to go out by myself, but most of the time I'm with another deputy from the road or one of the DNR wardens. I recently went to 4 days of boat patrol training down at the Milwaukee Yacht Club. Superb training put on by very knowledgeable instructors. Covered a lot of things that I might run into on the waters of Dodge County. Over here we have our Dodge County Club car that is mostly used for special events, for instance the fair, and events like this as well. We have our 2004 Polaris ATV. That's something that's been in our at our department for quite a while, obviously. We've since acquired 2021 Kawasaki Mule, outfitted to the max. That's something that I'll be utilizing for enforcing the UTV, ATV trails in Dodge County, which are mostly roadway trails.
I'm Deputy Martin Caberline with the Dodge County Sheriff's Office, and I'm going to be walking you through our mobile incident command center.
All right, what do we got here?
Okay, so if you look behind me, we have basically equipment for dispatchers to operate out of this facility, or this piece of equipment rather. We have communication capabilities, radio capabilities, and it gives us, I guess, the capability to communicate with other agencies that we don't normally communicate with. One example would be like the Watertown Police Department.
You could also go state and federal, correct?
I believe we can communicate with the state as well. The feds, I'm not so sure about. But if we turn around, we can actually see another room.
All right. How many people generally will work in this space that we have right here?
It would depend on the incident. So depending on what amount of resources we need, we can have up to 2 dispatchers in here, as well as other support staff. The other room also gives us the capability to use as a command center or an interview room.
Where has this unit been used?
It has been used, I guess, all over Dodge County. One incident I can think of is an incident in Beaver Dam where we had to deploy our SWAT team to execute some high-risk warrants at multiple locations, and because of the fact that we had to execute these warrants at multiple locations, we had a command center, this command center, that we utilized both for communications as well as, I guess, after-the-fact interviews of suspects.
So you're working with Beaver Dam Police Department in conjunction with them, correct?
We have. For that particular incident, we did not, but we work with every agency within Dodge County.
In this room?
So this would be a room that our leadership, our command staff would be in. We would have maps hung up of a particular location. Any resources that we would have recorded on here, as well as whatever tasks they're designated with. But this would be a room where we could have multiple different agency heads meeting, collaborating, and coming up with solutions.
What do we have for the map behind us here?
This looks like the city of Waupun.
So this is just tacked up and can be changed wherever you need it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Shep, Corrections Officer at the Dodge County Detention Facility, and this is
Sergeant Aaron Potratz. I'm a sergeant over at the Dodge County Detention Facility as well. I've been working there for about 20 years, also a negotiator for the SWAT team. We're here just spreading the word about the detention facility, recruitment-wise, people looking for a job, either part-time, looking for retired folks for transport, and also for our regular correction officer position that offers a nice $6,000 bonus. We got some good swag out here for everyone. Smart 911 donated a bunch of items for us that you can get for your phone, some pens, some other stuff, just a program that goes through our dispatch center as well. We're also offering jail tours so people can find out what we do on a daily basis. So, and without having to actually come in, because no one wants to come in to the jail.
Yes, it's better to tour, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
correct.
All right, Sarge, what about you?
Like I said, Sergeant Shep. I've been at the jail for just shy of 20 years myself. Like he said, we're just here promoting the position, trying to, spark up some interest and get people to come, good quality people to come and apply and come work for our team.
How should they apply?
You can go online and apply online.
Okay, Dodge County Sheriff Office?
Yep, DodgeCountySheriffs.com.
Okay, all right. All right, ladies, what do we have here?
This is the Dodge County Sheriff's Cadets. My name is Leslie Schreier, and I am the captain of the post.
I'm Natalie Nelson. I am one of the sergeants in the post.
How long have you been involved?
I've been involved for 3.5 years.
I've been involved for a little over 4 years already.
Okay, and what got you interested in the cadets?
They had advertisement on Facebook. I've always wanted to be a law enforcement officer or some sort of involvement in law enforcement. So I saw the application online and applied and realized that I loved it.
My family has been a part of law enforcement, and just hearing their stories and like watching a lot of like the crime that happens has really gotten me interested in it. And I've heard about this post from a lot of my friends, so they really pushed me to get into it and join, and it's been a great experience since
How
then.
many cadets are there right now?
There's about 9.
And different ages. What age can the first person first apply?
You have to be at least 14 in order to apply, and you can stay until you're 21.
Okay. And most people who get involved in this do go on to some kind of law enforcement job. Is that true?
About half. So we've had some that go into the communication side of it. We've had some go to the jail. And then a lot of our deputies here actually have been in the cadet program, but some just take the leadership skills and team working skills onto a different career.
Okay. So what else can you tell me?
What else can we tell you? We love supporting the community, trying to help in every which way. We work at the Dodge County Fair, kind of help out the cadets or the deputies there. Yeah, and we're just here to learn what we can do as growing and just learn leadership and team skills.
What do you hope to accomplish by being here today?
Just to kind of get people to be like more aware of like what we do, and try and get people to be more interested in, like if they have kids, more interested in becoming a part of the post and learning what we do, and just seeing like a lot of different aspects of it.
Where are each of you from?
I'm from Beaver Dam.
I'm from Burnett, Wisconsin.
Burnett? Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to Pastor Dan Bone. I've been chaplain for the Sheriff's Office since 2019. And Chaplain Bauer, Tim Bauer. I've been a chaplain with the department since 1990, 32 years now.
And I'm Father Justin Lapina, pastor of Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Horicon. And like Pastor Dan, I've been here since about 2019, serving as a volunteer chaplain for basically the entire Dodge County.
So what's generally the role of a chaplain for Dodge County Sheriff's Office?
Well, we're on call 24/7, and what we will get called out for are fatal accidents, and sometimes when that happens, then we go to the scene and assess everything, make positive identification of any victims, and then proceed with death notifications to the relatives. Sometimes we get called out for suicides, drug overdoses, sudden deaths in the home where maybe somebody's doing the dishes and they drop over a heart attack, and then the spouse is with them and they want some comfort. Just had one recently where a mother died and she had 2 children that needed attention. So you go there and you help give special attention to them. And that's the seriousness, the tragedy part of everything. And we have protocol that we follow when we do those things. There's other things too. We ride along with officers on occasion. We're a sounding board for officers, and they understand that everything that we do is confidential, everything we say. If you're in a squad car with an officer, nothing leaves that car between the two of you. That's just another aspect, but you guys can add to that.
Yeah, well, I'll jump in next if you don't mind. So the way it works in my mind is, as chaplains, a huge part of what we do is we take some of the psychological burden off the shoulders of the officers. You know, death notifications, many officers would say that's the worst part of the job. We're here for, counseling and needs like that, but we're there to try, sort of give people a chance to talk out their feelings and to meet with someone that is able to listen to what they say. You may recall a couple of years ago we had this random shooting in Mayville, and all 3 of us were there at the scene. I forgot which one of you came first. I got there last. But if my memory serves me correctly, no one died that day. None of the shootings were fatal, but there was a lot of trauma because someone took a gun and shot up a like a senior housing unit. So we basically went door to door and just kind of offered to talk to anybody that needed to debrief themselves on that. And then about a week later, we went and talked to the entire community. They had a kind of like a town meeting sort of thing. I'm blanking on the exact term when it's one specific building, but we're there to help people through harder parts of life when they may not have anybody else to talk to.
Another thing we do too is also with the we'll meet after, like last summer we had 2 major accidents right within a week. And so we got together not only with the sheriff's department, those officers that were involved, but also the EMT, firefighters, and did a debriefing just to talk about what their feelings were. It allows them to share with us and unload on us and not on their family. And so we're part of that process where they can talk with us and then not have to deal with things at home or take that home with them, which is another important part.
What is it that benefits you guys who are involved in this?
Well, it's the fact that we can help people, and by nature that's what we do anyway, because we're clergy, we're pastors, and we serve people. I'm retired now, and I miss the interaction I used to have with my members of my church, but this gives me a way to get involved with other people at a time of crisis and help them, and that's very satisfying to me, and hopefully it's beneficial to the people that we serve. And because of our experience and background, we have unique skills, I suppose, that others may not have when it comes to helping people in crisis. And it's a real joy to be able to do that.
It is a joy to use the training that you've been given in another way than just with your parish, to reach out into the community you serve, but then others also.
Exactly. It's opportunity. One of my mentors once said, you're in the office doing paperwork when you're not being a priest. You're being a priest when you're in the home, when you're in the hospital, when you're in the jail, when you're ministering to people where they need you. And everything else is what you do when you have extra time. So this is really the very heart of ministry.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
Hi, what group do we have here?
This is the Sheriff's Citizens Police Academy.
There you go.
And who are you?
I'm Greg O'Connor.
How long are you guys
And?
I'm Mark Fox.
Okay, and tell us about this academy, please.
We're both graduates from the most recent academy. Mark?
It's a program that gives you a really in-depth look at what law enforcement officers have to put up with on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Sorry, guys.
You know, it gives you an idea of what they have to see on a daily basis, and it's much more deeper than what you see on television. It's much more deeper than what you see on the news. It's what they actually have to do, and it's intense. It's a really incredible program if somebody wants to really understand what they do.
I recommend it highly for anybody that wishes to understand what police officers do every day.
How long ago did you get involved?
We started, what was that?
We started September 9th of last year.
Right.
The class went every Wednesday until December 15th.
So what kind of things did you actually cover?
Oh boy.
Pull out your sheet.
Yeah, we had the ones that were the most intense, I guess you could say. The ones that meant a lot to us was the one that we had to watch about traffic stops by law enforcement officers. Probably one of the most dangerous jobs that they have to do, because you never know what you're coming up to. And we just watched a whole series of videos of live body cameras from police officers whose conditions and situations went from just a normal traffic stop to very bad for them. One of them, a very sad situation where an officer was literally, basically, I would say, executed right at the scene on his camera. We saw that whole thing.
On his body camera.
And then we have to come out here and pretend that we're giving a person a traffic citation, a ticket. We have to learn how to approach them, how to talk to them. And all I know is that when I came up, I was so nervous. I was sweating down my arms. I was so certain he was going to come up with a gun. I was shaking. He was going to come up and shoot me. He didn't, thank God. But you know, it was very intense. But it gives you an idea of just what they have to face when they're walking up and what they have to expect.
So what are the kind of things that you do for the sheriff office for parades and things like that. Is that true?
I suppose you could. This is our first time for me doing anything with them, maybe second for you.
Yeah, I was here. We had a SWAT hostage team program where they came in and they had to try talk a person down for the SWAT team.
Training.
And the training. It was SWAT teams from the Sheriff's Department. I think Beaver Dam was there, maybe Waupun had some officers. And we had to play a scenario. So I had to play a scenario of a guy that was basically having all kinds of problems and issues, and they had to talk me down from doing something really serious. So I volunteered to do that, and that was really an eye-opener experience for me because I got to see how they had to deal with me, and I actually started going crazy on them, literally, because I got into the part so good, and they have to try to settle me down, and 3 of them did. The other one had a hard time with me, but you know it was training for them. It was to try to give them an opportunity to see what was going on.
Sure.
The training we do here is, like I said, to get us to open up. We had live fire, what we call was a shoot, don't shoot scenarios. You know, you can see some of the pictures here, here, here. He's right up here.
Where shoot a taser too.
Yeah, we shot tasers also. We got to do that. But in the shoot, don't shoot, you're given a scenario. You're given a partner. They give you special equipment, the protection of helmets, body protection, all. And they give you a weapon that actually shoots a little rubber, like balloon ball out of it. But it's
like a paintball, but it's called simunition.
It's actually an ammunition. There's gunfire shooting. You know, casings fly out of your gun and everything.
Yep.
And you got to walk in there and address a situation, a hostage situation, a suicidal situation, a fight between 2 people, and then a active shooter situation, which was really intense. But we're going through there as officers. They're not there telling us what to do. We're going through, and the cadets that were in there were playing the bad guys. And so they already knew what to do. And when all was said and done in the one scenario, yes, I shot a guy, but I also shot the hostage. It wasn't intentional, but it happened. Another scenario, I shot a guy. Turns out he had a cell phone coming out, but he's going toward my partner, and I didn't see it, so I shot him.
Told him not to move.
Yeah, but he brought it out and he shot with a cell phone. And now you see what these guys have to deal. So when you see, I know, like when Lieutenant Weinfurter asked me, he says, "Okay, Mark, when we get to television, what scene are they going to show on TV? The guy with the cell phone going down, or you from your position not knowing what's going to happen? It'll be the cell phone guy that's going down." And that's what these guys deal with.
All right. Anything else?
You also get to do a ride-along if you wish to with a deputy on a shift of your choice.
Yep. We go through the court or the jails. We had great talk with Chaplain Bauer, came through the class, District Attorney came through the class. You learn all about the law enforcement. I mean, you see everything that these guys do, and I would recommend anybody, you got to do this class if you really want to get an eye-opening experience. And yeah, it's intense. In some cases, very intense.
You know, they put their lives on the line for us each and every day.
Yeah,
so
and our lives
weren't is awesome.
Yeah, and our lives weren't on the line, but sure felt that way.
Sure did.
Hi. What do we have going on here?
Hi, Lieutenant Robbie Weinfurter with the Dodge County Sheriff's Office. I'm the commander of the SWAT team. Today we just got some equipment out on display for the people that are coming to our open house. Some of it does look old and beat up because it is. We don't have some of the newer equipment out here. But really quickly, what we've got here is we've got a shield here, just for the kids to handle, mess around with, get an idea of how heavy it is. Some of the adults like to pick it up and mess around with it as well. This is one of our older SWAT vests. It does not have all the equipment on there that a current vest would have for an operator. Just gives them an idea of what it feels like empty, and it gives the kids a chance to put it on too. They really like that. Likewise, this is one of our older helmets here. The newer ones are all multi-cam, still similar design, but again, it's just for the kids to put on and have some fun with. On the table here, it's zip tied down, tipped up for you. We've got a Colt M4 Commando. Most of the members of the SWAT team have a rifle similar to this. Some of them also have what's known as a sub-gun, which would be like an MP5, which is a 9mm, or a UMP45, which is a 45. And then lastly on our table, we have a 40mm launcher. Whoops, it's kind of falling down on me. This is used so that we can deliver gas and powder from a distance, like OC gas, OC powder, OC liquid. Just a very versatile piece of equipment that we have. So that's what we got on display today. So also on display today we have our MRAP, which stands for Mine Resistant Ambush Protected. This is completely defensive. Some people see it and think that it's a tank, which it's not. We got this through what's called the 1033 program, which is through the federal government. We are fortunate enough that a local company actually transported this for us at no cost. So to this date, the only cost that we paid for this is for maintenance, which is a pretty good deal. So inside here, if we have an operation, we can fit a good amount of our operators into the vehicle itself.
Generally used for SWAT?
Yes, we have used it for SWAT. It actually has been used more so for natural disasters. We've actually had it out on a couple of the flooding occasions to get to people that we couldn't get to otherwise. So when you see it, it's not just an armored tactical vehicle, it's actually an armored rescue vehicle. So we've gone out.
How many people does it hold?
Well, we got our, let's see, 8 seats in here. And that gets pretty tight when everybody's got all their gear on. When you got your SWAT vest on, helmets, guns, all that stuff. We can get more in here if we really scrunch down, but it gets to be pretty uncomfortable at that point. So
That's 8 in the back and 2 in the front?
Correct, yeah. So for the operation purposes, what we like to do is have one person driving, of course, and then the passenger usually serves as a spotter. Because visibility is so limited from the driver's seat, it helps out a lot to have a second person there as a second set of eyes.
So this was surplus equipment?
Correct.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Denise. I'm a Deputy Secretary at the Dodge County Sheriff's Office. Today we have an open house that we are giving tours of the Sheriff's Office. We're doing kid IDs and we got lots of brochures for parents to read.
And the kid IDs, what do we do?
Yes, I'm doing the kid IDs. My name is Erica Lemke. I'm a communications sergeant here at the Sheriff's Office. And we do the IDs as a free thing for anybody who wants them. And then the parents have the option of having the information stored in our secure records management system that we could share with other law enforcement agencies if needed. We offer this at the Dodge County Fair every day from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. And otherwise, there's other random pop-up events that we'll do it at throughout the year.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, so thank you everyone for coming to the Sheriff's Office today. We're glad to have you here and we're glad that the weather is holding out very nicely. So we're starting in our administration offices. So corner office over here is the Sheriff's Office. Deputy Chief Scott Middlestad. Then we have some of our support staff offices as well. And then we're gonna wrap around. We've got some downstairs as well. So whether it's deputies or detectives that need to conduct interviews, they've got plenty of options. Down this hallway is the majority of our support staff offices. And through this door is our detective division. Alright, so this is our detective division. These are all of the offices for all of our detectives in the county. They also very much use a communal table for when they're working on larger cases. It's a really good opportunity to be able to work together, work through a case, And although you may have seen it when you came in, there's a chalkboard. They don't use the chalkboard as much anymore. They essentially have a digital chalkboard now, which is really nice to be able to work together and be able to review video or look at mapping, and everyone can see what's on the same screen at the same time instead of multiple little laptops trying to figure it out. Behind through the giant metal door is a vault. Once upon a time, it was all of our reports and our records. But now that we're in a digital age and everything is digital, pretty much is minimal storage. We do have some of our older file records in there when it was a long time ago, even before paper. They would put things on really little things called microfilm and microfiche. We do still have some of that for some really old cases, but we're working on trying to better digitize those to preserve them for longer. So that's the detective area. Oh, and this is Detective Lake. Hi. Anyone have any questions on the detective division or anything for Detective Lake?
Well, that's good.
Good thing. So what kind of case are you working on now?
Today was I was working with our drug task force, so we were doing a lot of. That's why I have a hoodie sweatshirt on and not like wearing a collared shirt or something like that. But generally, generally we have multiple assignments up here, so we have multiple specialties. It's not like it's a for example, let's say Milwaukee PD or Madison PD, where there's a burglary division and an auto theft division or anything like that. We have a lot of different specialties that we all kind of share. So for example, one of mine is I'm in our drug task force, but I'm also an internet crimes investigator. So a lot of things that, let's say, happen involving computers, which is a lot nowadays for criminal act. That's something that I investigate. So yeah, what I'm working on right now is just one of our operations for sometime soon that's coming up here. So going over that and getting ready for it. Almost done with the day, but I'm on call this weekend, so it doesn't really change much. But
All right.
yeah.
Any other questions? All right, let's head into the dispatch.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. So this is a dispatcher. Call 911. Stations available. If it's a regular event or if someone's in here training, we've got extra options. But each station has 6 different screens, so they can monitor, maps and weather and the phone and radios, and they can keep an eye on literally everything that's going on. I always feel like you have to grow a third ear to be a dispatcher because there's so much going on. But they do a great job. They really, really do. So, and they each have these, if you can see in the corner, they've got like the light bars. So that helps either anyone coming in or helps the other dispatchers know what they're doing. So like right now, both of theirs are lit up because they're on the phone. The blue is phone. If the red one lights up, it's because they're on the radio. They're talking to someone else on the radio or talking to a deputy or an officer. So it helps their kind of teamwork figure out who's doing what. Because even if you're talking to someone on, if you call 911 and you're talking to someone, they're talking to you and someone else is already sending an officer or an ambulance or a fire truck because they've got that good teamwork of figuring out how to get things to you and how to get them to you fast. Any questions about this patch? But they help prepare, train, and coordinate for critical events throughout the entire county. So they work with local municipalities, the actual governments, not just law enforcement, to train and provide resources if there's critical events, you know, tornado season, or someone hits a gas main, or, you know, train derailment, any kind of those larger scale issues. They help make sure that the resources that we would need for those are where we would need to get for them, have the right training so that we know how to respond, and ultimately to help keep everybody safe. All right, so then we're going to come through here, and our crash team has a presentation for us. Come on in, grab a seat.
Everybody, Rachel?
Yep.
Okay.
There
you go.
I'm Sergeant Workman, one of the members of the crash team here at the Sheriff's Office. This is Sergeant Walston. He's a total last group. He's basically the godfather of the crash team here at the Sheriff's Office. He's in charge of it. Started it. He's been doing it for 4 years. Then you probably want to admit. So, playing on the screen behind us again. Perfect timing. This actually, how many people think this is real, like video? It's actually an animation, okay? The crash was real. I was actually at this crash, now I remember where it is. But this was all put together in computer software using a drone, the exact drone you see in front of us. Basically, we take the drone to all of our crash scenes, and we fly a pattern with them, covering the whole scene. We bring the data back. We go into the crash office downstairs, plug the data. The pictures is the data. All the pictures that the drone captured into the software, and it produces something like you saw right there. This here is also an animation. This is from the Pix4D program. So this is data gathered using either our phones or the iPad here. And the Pix4D software. So it collects all the photos. It takes thousands of photos or hundreds of photos in a short period of time. We used to have a total station, which was you had a device at a fixed point, and you took mirrors and you went around to other points and clicked them, and it would mark those points, and then you would take that back, and the computer program would sketch out straight lines showing the scene. So it wasn't as animated as this. A scene that would take 4 to 6 hours using total station now takes us 45 minutes flying the drone. As the technology improves, I imagine that time is only going to lessen. To show you what we mean by the Pix4D, volunteer, anybody want to come up? Nobody? Okay. So I'll do it anyway. So you can see the screen as it's turning. You see how it's filling in white. What was the color? So as it fills in white, that is showing that we have scanned that. And you even want to get up under tables. This gets used more. You can use it on crash scenes for vehicles and stuff. There's an example of a fake crash, fake crime scene that was set up. All that was done using the Pix4D software and either the phone or the iPad, because they have laser scanners on them. But when the data is all collected, that's what you end up with. So versus the old days where you take some pictures and you have somebody come there and sketch and try to show a jury, like if this was a crime scene going to trial, this product is much better than what we can draw out. It just is. But this is all easy to use as far as this stuff goes. So the iPad or our phones, the data will merge with the drone data to make one big scene. So the more information we gather, the better the scene is when the computer program spits it out.
Yeah, so what we do is we go out to all the
really bad car crashes where somebody is hurt or killed, or we go out to crime scenes. So what we do at car crashes is it's kind of like a puzzle. We're trying to put together how the crash happened and who was seated where. So that's how we get a lot of information, is we get it from the drone, we get it from the iPad, we get it from the phones. We also get it from those modules that you see laying there on the table. If you guys have ever heard of black boxes in airplanes, well, cars and trucks have those too. So we get that information and we can see what happened before the crash and how people drove leading up to the crash. Were they on the gas pedal all the way? Were they steering real hard to the left or the right? How fast were they going? Were they on the brakes? We can see all those things. We can also see in some of the modules, were they on their phone? Were they playing on Facebook rather than driving? Those are the kinds of things we can see. We can also take a lot of this same hardware that you see, whether it's the drone or the iPad or the phone, and we can go to crime scenes as well. And like Sergeant Workman was saying, what used to take us hours and hours and hours now takes us a half hour to an hour on scenes that might have taken 6 or 7 hours before. So who's got, you guys see this playing in the background, who's got or who rides in an ATV or an UTV? Nobody? You guys do? Okay. So these are live crash tests that occur down in Milwaukee at the Medical College of Wisconsin on the VA grounds. And we get to go see these. And it's not just about going and seeing them. What we do is we learn how people move in the crashes, okay? Because sometimes it's hard for us to say who was seated where. Was this person the driver? Was this person the passenger? Were they in the front seat? Were they in the back seat, okay? So I want you guys just to look at this a little bit. This crash here, this is a UTV, and you'll see from the top here in a minute the driver. And watch what happens to the driver in this. The driver's seat belted, okay? And this is only at 30 miles per hour. Okay, let's see the next shot here. And this comes down again. This crash is only at 30 miles per hour, and this is simulating getting hit in the right front end. Look at the driver. And that driver is seat belted. So that's what happens at 30 miles per hour. So if you guys are in an ATV or a UTV, make sure you wear your seat belts. Make sure you wear your helmets. Okay, and I guess the best way to say it is no horseplay, because this is exactly what can happen. It can lead to some pretty severe consequences. And that's why the Medical College and National Highway Traffic Safety do these tests. And we're allowed to see these, and it helps us when we see similar type accidents or crashes in our county. We have to go investigate them. So for you guys that are still in school, this is why you take math. This is what math is for, because we do a lot of math, and it's really important because there's a lot of calculations on how many feet per second the car was traveling, or how many miles per hour, or how tall it is, or you know, angle calculations, crush calculations. There's a lot. So there's a lot of math. So this is what it's for. If you ask yourself, what am I doing math for? When am I ever going to use it? Here it is. This is what we do. So
also down here is our prescription drug drop box. So that's available 24/7, 365. You don't have to have a deputy come and help you. You can just walk in, come and drop off unused or unneeded prescription drugs. We also have sharps disposal as well. So if someone's diabetic or if they take shots for their medicine, they can come and dispose the sharps to keep everybody safe. We also do 2 large like national drug drop days, usually one in April and one in October. But this is available all year round. So you know, if you're cleaning out a cupboard, you can come drop them off at any time. All right, so now we're coming through to the command staff offices. And everyone is welcome to take a stuffy off of the table. And then also on this wall, the giant mechanical thing right there, it's actually a printer. So it's really nice to be able to print like maps. We have that now in-house. Before we had to work with one of the other county departments, but now we can print them all in-house if we need them. He needs 2 hands.
I know, yeah, definitely. So you're me, why you need a printer like that? Are you ready? Let's walk. I don't know.
Yeah? All right. So, rows of cubicles are each, is one for each deputy. They look a little small, but really their main office is their squad car. That's their rolling office that they do the majority of their workout out in. So, and now that technology's come so far, they can do a lot more just out from the road. And we also have satellite stations set up throughout the county, so even if they can't get back to Juneau, there's other areas where they can get to if they, maybe need to, use the bathroom or update their Wi-Fi, or if they need to print something. They don't all have to come back to Juneau. So if you have someone who's in Lamira, there's a station closer in kind of that northeast sector. Or if you have someone who's in Reeseville, they can't make it all the way back to Juneau. They've got options kind of in between, which especially now trying to save on gas has been very, very, very helpful.
Yeah.
All right, so let's head back this way.
Get your little tiger.
And we'll go into the evidence processing.
Come on, little buddy.
So this is our main evidence processing room. So whenever deputies or detectives have evidence that they need to bring back and submit, this is where they usually bring it first. We've got all of our packaging materials in here that they can rebox things. They can adjust for fingerprints if they need to. But they can repackage everything. We have packaging standards that they have to meet to not only keep that evidence secured and untainted, but also to protect the evidence clerks, especially when it's things coming in like drugs or blood that we don't want people to have contact with. It's really important that they package it properly to keep everybody safe. In addition to safety, we have this giant silver shiny thing, which is actually a hood. So whenever suspected drugs come in, they have to be tested so we can determine what kind of drugs they are, or if they even are drugs. So when they're in testing, sometimes if it's someone who's here just by themselves, we want to make sure that they're safe because we don't know what they may be testing. So this hood creates that ventilation so that whatever they may be testing, it lessens their exposure and it keeps them safer while they're testing whatever substance they may have. So that's our drug testing area. And then on this wall, bunch of lockers. Once they get all their evidence, tested, packaged, sealed, labeled, they put it into one of the lockers. And on the other side of the wall, there's a door on the other side. That's where the evidence clerk then brings that evidence in to our secured evidence area, and she can then confirm it, catalog it, and then she puts it into storage until maybe that piece of evidence, maybe it needs to go to the crime lab for further testing, or maybe it goes to a court case and then it has to get submitted to the court to be entered as an exhibit. And so all of that tracking, anytime that evidence moves, we have to make sure that we maintain who moved it, when they moved it, where did they move it to maintain what's called a chain of custody so that we can be accountable for where that piece was. So, I'll come out this way. So it's really, really important how we handle our evidence and keeping that chain of custody sound. So much so that this door and then the next door on the other side of this wall is where that evidence room is. There's only 3 people in the whole county that can get into that room. Who thinks the sheriff can get into the room?
Oh,
Not even the sheriff can get in here because he has to be accountable, and we don't want to have any issues of, any allegations that maybe he's tampering with someone. So he completely removes himself from the process, and he just makes sure that the people that are running that room are accountable for what they're doing in that room. So yeah, it's only like 3 people in the entire department that can get in that room. In this room is additional processing. I've got a smaller group so we can peek. So this one there's a fridge if someone brings in something that needs to stay cold, usually blood, something like that. There's additional fingerprint powders, and then we've got 2 drying rooms. So if something comes in and it's wet, we can't package it wet. A, because it could grow mold, and that's bad because it could damage the evidence, or if it gets to the clerks, we don't want our clerks exposed to mold. So they can bring them in, let them hang up, let them dry, and then when they're dried, then they can be packaged and submitted. And then the cabinets with the clear doors, at the end there, those are fumigation hoods. What that does is there's a technique to be able to lift fingerprints using essentially super glue. You kind of put the glue on something and you let it sit in that fume hood for a little bit, and it can then bring up those fingerprints a lot easier to be able to find and take off. And then kind of similar, we've got, these are the temporary lockers. So maybe they're not ready to go into evidence yet, but they need to be somewhere secured. Again, that chain of custody, we need to be accountable for where everything is. So if deputies, maybe can't have time to fully process it, they can bring it in here, secure it, it's locked, and when they are ready, they can open it up, finish processing, and submit it into evidence. Any questions on evidence processing rooms at all?
Like what kinds of evidence comes in?
I mean, really it depends on what kind of scene they're called to. It could be anything, it could be drugs, it could be weapons, it could be firearms, it could be a cell phone. We have a lot of cell phones in evidence now. It could be money, it could be if something is, it could be clothes, it could be, a mattress, it could be, I think we've got, it could be shelves, it could be anything that may be at a scene that they think may be relevant to that case or that investigation, they can, claim as evidence. We also have sections for found property and safekeeping. So sometimes depending on the scene, maybe they took something just for safekeeping until they kind of determined what happened at that scene. And then there's different release protocols for safekeeping or found property than evidence. And then if the deputy finds a bike on the side of the road, we have a process for entering in found property separate from evidence. Any other questions? Did anyone watch Blue's Clues as a kid? Because I watched Blue's Clues as a kid, and this makes me really happy that I get to kind of do Blue's Clues as an adult. And then we're going to go up and around there.
Which way? This way?
We're going to go to our right. Follow the exits. I don't know. He's the one wearing the star.
I know. On his face.
All right, and then we're kind of back to where we started. We made a giant loop. All right. So then, any other questions on anything we've seen? Anything that you didn't see that you wanted to see? No? All right. So that's the end of what I've got for the tour. I don't know if anyone had the kid IDs done upstairs, but those are still available. Otherwise, they've got tons of stuff set up outside. You guys are more than welcome, and thank you again for coming today. Thank you. Loved having you.
Thank you. This way over.